Hey guys, welcome. I hope you all are doing fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's reading is What is the Gossip on You? Alright, so we do have three groups we to choose from. Group one, the clear quartz geode. Group two, the pink tourmaline. And group three, the citrine crystal. Alright, what is the gossip about you? So, if you do need to take a moment to choose your group, feel free to pause the video, you know. But I will see you guys in your readings. Okay, if you've chosen the first group, the clear quartz geo, then this reading is for you. What is the gossip on you? We have 10 of Cups upright, 8 of Cups upright, and the 2 of Cups in reverse. A lot of water energy. Okay. Alright, so the talk on you is that you're having some trouble at home, but you're trying to maybe put on a happy face, maybe show the world that you guys are doing alright, that you guys are happy. But people do speak about you having relationship problems, or if there are certain people who already have details about your relationship problems, then they're kind of discussing that with other people. They talk about you being the cause of the problems. This could be about your need for independence or your need to be seen as an individual. It could be something you are more aware of, though. Like if you're single, they think that's why you're single, because you want to be independent, you want to be self-sufficient, you want to kind of be an individual. So if you're single, then they think that's why you're single. But if you're in a relationship, then they could feel like that is what's causing your relationship issues. Okay, if that makes sense. It's like if you are in a relationship, these people, they think that you shouldn't rock the boat in your relationship. People talk about you loving your family though, and wanting to do right by your family. People do gossip about you being lonely or feeling lonely. They do talk about you being supportive, but you don't really get the same in return. They also talk about you maybe recently breaking up with someone, or they speculate that relationship you're in is kind of maybe headed towards a breakup. Or for some of you, if you guys are single, they feel like you're not over a past relationship. People are talking about you not treating someone right, though. Could be a friend, could be an acquaintance. People do talk about you being in a great financial position. They do talk about you not being treated fairly, though, in some situations. Some people even believe and say you're being bullied by someone. They also talk about you being argumentative, or they talk about you maybe having heated discussions with someone, or being in a disagreement with someone. Wait, let me see. But these people who are saying this feels like more like onlookers, as opposed to someone you may have had an argument with, for example. But they could be on your side in terms of this argument or disagreement you've had with someone else. But yeah, someone's gossiping about you being ungrateful, with what you have. They say that you need to stop living in the past. People do talk about you wanting to keep your family together. But some people kind of, talk about how they think you're not doing enough in that way. But it feels like these people, or some of these people are rooting for you in terms of your family, keeping your family together, stuff like that. um yeah, so some people say you're trying to relive your youth. There's someone gossiping about you wanting to leave a current relationship because you believe in soulmates, and that if you are in a relationship, like, you don't believe the person you're with is your soulmate. And that's what people are talking about. But yeah, people gossip about you being highly sensitive right now. Some people mention you seeming depressed, but also about you having a lot of emotional strength regardless. But people do talk about how they think you are feeling disappointed with your life. People, say that you pride yourself on being honest and that you kind of want that honesty in return. People do talk about you neglecting someone. This could be someone you're close to, but it feels like you don't really owe this person anything. You may even want this person to be independent and self-sufficient, but other people can like perceive that as, like, neglect. But yeah, people have been talking about you withdrawing socially, mentally, and emotionally. They do say you seem or you are drained and tired. People gossip about how they perceive some of your actions as wanting or needing validation from other people or a specific person, like a crush, family member, friend, your spouse. But there is someone who is talking a lot about a misunderstanding that they had with you, or other people are talking about a misunderstanding you had with someone else. This could be referring to the disagreement that came up earlier. It could be referring to something else, actually. But yeah, people do also talk about you having a jealous streak. This could also be another reason why they think you're ungrateful, because they do see you as having a lot, so they maybe don't understand why you would even, feel jealous. Yeah, and entertain those feelings in their perspective, at least. But that is all that's coming through. I do hope it could be helpful, makes sense, and all that stuff. But I'm wishing you guys the best, alright? Take care. What up? I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you for joining me. If you've chosen the second group in this reading, it could be for you. What is the gossip, the talk around town, alright, about you at the moment? Alright, so we have Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Eight of Swords upright, Three of Cups in reverse. So some people could gossip about you being on a budget. Some people could speak about you being maybe stingy in some way. Unfortunately, some people could be gossiping about you being selfish, like they do think you can't see past your own needs at times. For some of you, this isn't for everyone, this is random, but for some of you, people do gossip about an addiction that you might have, whatever, whether it's liquor, I don't know, smoking, exercising, it could literally be anything. But yeah, some people do talk about an addiction that you have. So yeah, there are some people who do talk about you being selfish, whereas other people do talk about you having to be selfish. Like maybe you're at a point in your life where you do have to be selfish. So there are people who do kind of talk about and understand that you are, misunderstood or misrepresented, or your actions can, say one thing when your intentions are another, right? So yeah, people do talk about you using material things, maybe the way you dress, or like material possessions to make yourself feel better. But they also feel like you do it to feel validated by other people. People do talk about you not really believing in yourself, when they do think you have every reason to believe in yourself. It feels like there are people with two completely different perspectives on you, right? There's one group that thinks and talks about you being this hardworking person, okay? And there's this other group who talks about you being, lazy, for example. Uh, Let me see something actually. Or it's the same person, same group of people that say, okay, maybe you're super hardworking in one area of your life, and maybe kind of lazy in another area of your life. Um, but yeah, for some of you, the gossip on you is that you don't want to be a parent, or you don't want to be responsible for someone. But people do talk about you being a responsible person in general, but you just don't really want to take that responsibility over someone, like people could think you don't want to take on responsibility for other people because you have enough shit going on. So it does feel like some people understand that, whereas other people find it like selfish or whatever. But yeah, I think I mentioned this before, but some people say that they think you don't think highly enough of yourself. They also say you want attention from someone you have a crush on, or they say that you want attention from the wrong people. Some people could gossip about you being a cheater, maybe even being a player, like you keep your options open, or maybe they say like maybe you've cheated in the past, or they say that you aren't really loyal when it comes to relationships. Like they could assume, or maybe know if you've said this to them, but they could assume that you feel like you don't owe anyone your loyalty. But only take that message if it resonates. That one wasn't for everyone, or the majority even. But yeah, people gossip about you being loyal to your family, though, or certain family members you're extremely loyal to. They do talk about you being possessive over things and people. They do talk about you not being self confident, or you get your confidence from, material things, or, people giving you attention, stuff like that. People do talk about not feeling positive about you. This could be because you are maybe independent, or you're closed off. It feels like you could come across, maybe negative, maybe even wounded. So, so yeah, some people may not feel positive about you, because of those things, or the way you could come across in certain situations, even if they are kind of understanding, how you show up, and stuff like that. But yeah, people do say you've been betrayed many times in love and life. People say it has forever changed you. For some of you, That is why they say you aren't really loyal in relationships. They say maybe you've been there, done that, and in their perspective, they feel like it's not worth it to you to be loyal to someone who is, through experience, probably not going to be loyal to you. So they do think that there are some, or they do discuss like there being some wounds there still when it comes to like love and relationships. Yeah, but people gossip about you being well off. They talk about you being in great shape as well, or they talk about you, trying to get in good shape. People do say you find it hard to socialize, or you're not the best in social situations. But people do talk a lot about you seeming closed off, you know? Maybe you don't dive deep when it comes to feelings, or maybe just with certain people, you're a bit wary, or like I just don't really know you like that. So I'm not really gonna, pour my heart out to you, sort of thing, right? But yeah, so people do think you are still traumatized, still carrying that trauma as well, unfortunately. People speculate maybe because of the things you've been through, your emotional growth has been stunted. And some people do kind of, come to the conclusion that you may be immature because you are closed off, or just because you don't operate how other people operate. You know what I mean? Some people also say you do seem intimidating, maybe even a little hostile. Some people could say you seem a bit scary, but I wouldn't take it personally, honestly. People gossip about the people who feel they are in competition with you, and it feels like you would be super surprised to find out these people who are in competition with you. But people talk about how they notice how other people like feel competitive with you. It could be the other way, actually. It could be the other way that they say that you're, competitive with, these people. So yeah, people also talk about you being creative. People do say that you refuse to help or be supportive towards a specific person or specific group of people. Like some people do talk about you having a negative mindset, being a bit of a pessimist. But yeah, people do gossip about thinking, or maybe they know that you don't ever want to feel trapped by another person again, or that's something that they kind of speculate. And finally, it feels like people also gossip about you being slightly unapproachable. But yeah, that is all I have though for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, make sense. But I am wishing you guys the best, alright? Please take care. Bye. Hello. If you've chosen the third group, the citrine crystal, then this reading is for you. What is the gossip about you? What is the talk around the town, alright? So we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, Page of Swords upright, Knight of Cups upright. So we have two knights, both in reverse. Alright, so people do talk about your lack of action. What's that? Yeah, like people assume or talk about you not having like a drive, or just not seeming like you do have, that drive. Like some people do think you're all talk and no action at times. They talk about you like moving at a snail's pace. They would say you are unreliable because you do like to do things in your own time, or You just don't really do things as quickly as maybe people would like you to do it. Like you maybe do really just run on your own time. But yeah, people do gossip about not really knowing you all that well. They talk about you being quite mysterious, actually. People also talk about you being really patient, like you move cautiously, you move slowly, but you're also analytical and you're also smart. So a lot of people do think, did they talk about it though? Yeah, a lot of people do think and they do talk about there being a reason for your inaction or being there, like there being a reason why you do move slowly when it comes to certain things. So yeah. So yeah, they definitely feel like you have a reason for moving at your own pace. And like for some of you, people do feel like there's a method to your madness at times. It doesn't have to be referring to the whole inaction thing. But people could think you do things in like a unique way. This is not for everyone or the majority, but people think you do things in a unique way that it may not make sense to anyone else, but it makes sense to you. But yeah, people gossip about you being a bit of a lone wolf. Um, People could perceive that as a little sneaky, even though you're not. That's how they perceive it for some reason. Because they believe you're out for yourself, out for number one, right? But people do talk about you being youthful. This does feel like it is in terms of maybe your looks, your perspective on certain things, maybe your health. Um, or maybe you like to have fun, like maybe some of you here are big kids. Maybe you have youthful interests, whatever that means. But yeah, people gossip about you waiting for someone, but they do talk about you possibly waiting for the wrong person, or you're wasting your time waiting for a certain person. um, People do talk about you making the same mistakes over and over in love. Some people say you do seem anxious at times. People gossip about you purposely trying not to fit in, like in their perspective, they feel like you're going out of your way not to fit in. They talk about you wanting to stand out, but they don't necessarily feel like you go out of your way not like to stand out. But you definitely don't go out of your way to try and fit in with them either. Like this could be like in a certain community, for example, like you don't try fit in with certain groups and stuff like that. But it's clear to them that you do set yourself apart from other people or a specific group of people. It's like if people were to talk like collectively about you and a group that you hang with or have to be around often, like people would not lump you, even if you're with these people 247, they would not lump you in with these group of people or any group of people because they truly just kind of see you as this individual, right? Even if you're not necessarily trying to be. So yeah, people gossip about you maybe being a sucker for love. People do talk about you being an optimist, if I'm being honest. Like, some people can't tell if you're confident or not. Like, they're not really sure. People gossip about you being natural in your appearance. They do put you on a pedestal for that, though. It feels like they respect it a lot. Strength card, Six of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. Like, if any of you here are like very natural in the way you dress and your appearance, stuff like that. Like a lot of people respect that shit, if I'm being honest, okay? Like especially if you feel maybe a little bit insecure about it, don't, okay? Yeah, people talk a lot about you being naturally beautiful. Um, but again, like they're not really sure if you know it, you know? Some people do gossip about you being a player in love. Like some people could think you unintentionally go around breaking hearts. But yeah, holy shit. Sorry. So yeah, people do gossip about you being fun. Like you guys, like this group, you guys could be the fun parent, the fun auntie, uncle, fun friend. So, like a lot of people do talk about you being very attentive. Um, they talk about you in a way where you would go to hell and back for someone. And they generally talk about you being super protective over someone. It could be people in general as well. People do talk about you being successful, but they think it doesn't mean that much to you. You know, like they feel like it doesn't, give you validation, or or they kind of see you being super laid back about it, but about your success, like it's not really a big deal to you. But yeah, people talk about you being super loving and affectionate towards someone. They say you generally have a lot of love for your friends or your kids or, parents, whatever. But this feels like it is specifically for those of you who have certain people in your life that are not your family, but you treat them like your family, or you see them as your family. You know, you ride for them like they're your family, right? So people do talk about you having these, beautiful relationships with certain people in your life. But people do think you are generally cautious about who you talk to. Maybe, let me see. It could be mostly new people that they think you're cautious of, or generally they're just people you don't really know that well, you know? But yeah, people talk about you being seductive, very sensual. They do gossip about you having a lot of sex appeal. Some people do talk about you being a little delusional. Talking. Sorry, I had to pause the video. Oh yeah, so some people do mention you being a little delusional in their opinion, like living in a fantasy world sort of thing, right? Like they could think you have unusual theories, unusual ideas. Like they could say it in like a tinfoil hat kind of way, you know? Like you could have a lot of experiences that you share with people, but because these people see these experiences as like maybe up like otherworldly, or it's like shit you would only see in movies, right? So they may not believe you, or they kind of just think, okay, it's just them being all kooky and stuff. But they don't say you are delusional in a way where you're delusional about yourself or about other people, or that you aren't realistic, you know? But some people could just view some of your beliefs as wild. So, yeah, some people do talk about you seeming unfaithful in love. Some people do talk about you not being independent, maybe being dependent on someone. People do gossip about you being very disarming. Like, there's something about you that is very disarming. And yeah, they also talk about how you like to keep your options open as well. Or that's how they kind of perceive it, anyways. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. Thank you so much for joining me. Um, I do hope it can make sense, and I'm wishing you guys the absolute best. Okay, please take care of yourselves. Bye.